Well, here you are, just starting your quest for the PhD in a course called Research Philosophy. By now you've read the official course description and realized that it's general enough that we could drive everything from my old Civic to the latest Aston Martin through it with plenty of room to spare. Inevitably, it winds up being instructor's choice as to what gets taught and what does not. Since the word paradigm does get mentioned, we'll go down that road in a bit. Human nature and researchers' views of the world is an exceedingly broad area, but we'll spend no small amount of time looking at some of the theoretical and intellectual stirrings of the last 20 years or so. But first, the key here, of course, is the definition of the word research. We will spend a considerable amount of time on that question in the written portion of the lecture, and perhaps more downstream in the course. But it's well worth mentioning a few things here as well. Research is not poking around in the library and coming up with enough citations to satisfy the professor that you've written a halfway decent paper. Research, as we're going to define it here, and it's defined by and large everywhere, involves theory building, hypothesis testing, drawing conclusions based on evidence and tests of various sorts. It is the sifting and winnowing of fact from fiction, fondly held beliefs from evidence-based conclusions, and an almost endless challenge of authority, even if that authority is me, which you will see in the written part in a minute here. Challenging authority, asking questions, looking at old stories from different points of view, seeking new evidence and new interpretations of old evidence is the only way we increase knowledge and make progress. In the field of librarianship, we are dealing by and large with human beings in all their infinite variety and the interaction of our institutions with those human beings. Things can get exceedingly complex, and the more real research we can put into the matter at hand, the better chance we have of better understanding our users, our non-users, and our institutions. So for the rest of the semester, we'll be working on gaining some understanding of the research process, mainly using the broad brush approach. Later on, you will be taking both quantitative and qualitative research methods so that you will get into the nuts and bolts of the business. What I hope to do here is give you some solid background about larger issues and how they affect our field. If you really get this course, and if you really get the follow-on methodology courses, you may never look at the world in quite the same way again. If you don't get it right away, don't worry about it. Stick with it. There's always kind of a delayed learning curve with research, and what is not immediately obvious or clear may very well be so 2 or 3 weeks down the line. And now, on to the printed part of the lecture.